5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good afternoon, a slightly different time, but welcome along to the Back Pages. You missed me? We've been together a lot, haven't we, this past week or so. It's been a bit chaotic, to say the least. We're just in the process now of putting together the final schedule for the shows during the season, which is going to be a bit of a mess because obviously we have some midweek games thrown in there as well. So inconsiderate of the team to get relegated and mess my beautifully scripted spreadsheet of shows up. How very dare they? But we will be having more watch-alongs, it means. But this is the Back Pages, as you can see. I'm going to be joined by Wayne, and if you're joining us in the chat live, thank you very, very much. Add your comments in as we go through the show. They will appear in the bottom right-hand corner as soon as I make the click button there. So all your comments now will come up there. If you're watching on catch-up, thank you very much. Add comments in below under the description. And if you're watching via your favourite podcast platform, whatever that may be, thank you very much for lending us your ears. Let's do this and let's look at the latest news from down Filbert Way. Let's talk Leicester. Oh, hang on a second. Wayne, welcome along, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm all right, thanks, Chris. How are you?
I'm all right. I just need to make you bigger.
I'm a thumbnail, Chris.
You are. You are. There we go. Nice and big and bright. My God, I'm looking forward to the season starting for a bit of a rest.
God, it's been ridiculous. These long stints of the pre-season, whether they're doing the 60-minute slots or the two matches, it's quite full on.
Oh, it so is, and I mean, you're thinking like, oh, it's the off season. I can have a bit of a rest. I can do all. No, it gets worse than ever. It really does. But look, we're going to look back at the news as it's been happening. I'm still just trying to get your picture right, so. Hopefully now we're going to. Are you ready to look at the news?
Let's go, Chris.
So basically all the week's news, and actually on the individual news front, it's been very, very quiet because obviously we've had, the pre-season and the training and what have you. So it's been quiet on that side. Before we actually start with the individual news, are you surprised, Wayne? We're going to talk about a signing in a minute, which is breaking news today. But are you sort of... I mean, I'm not surprised that we haven't done any business because, we haven't got a manager. And there's no point doing transfer business when you've got no manager. Because if that manager comes in, he's going to maybe want a load of different players. And he's come in, but obviously his main priority is getting used to the players he's already got.
Yeah, that's enough for now, Chris. If you imagine if you've got new squad players, a couple of new squad players, I think he's got a real tough problem anyway, because with all the size of the squad we could have, with some of the C grade kids not occupying a squad official place, he's got so many pieces of the puzzle to sort out.
Yes.
I just think for him this is enough for him to be going on with at the minute.
Oh, yeah, more so. But the reason we started a little bit late because I did my other job this morning, the radio show, and I came on with this. I'd already put bless him. I'd already put Wayne back half an hour, and then I came on and discovered this. Breaking news: we have signed, or he's agreed a deal. Asmir Berkovic has agreed a deal to join Leicester. The 38-year-old will undergo a medical and sign a 1-year deal with the Championship side next week after leaving Everton early this summer. A Premier League winner in 16-17, Berkovic has kept 63 clean sheets in the top flight since his debut in May 2009. First of all, before we get talking about him, is this the nail in Mad's coffin?
I think so, Chris. I mean, he's all quiet. I know he's had an injury post-op.
Yeah.
To deal with. So, but it has been quiet, and we all expect Mads to go. And I think when the rumour started, I thought I do like this rumour because of his experience. His experiences, like as you mentioned before, with Bowser and different people. He's just a great fit for where we are now.
Oh, I that's the thing. I agree as well. He, for me, is like the Mark Schwarzer figure of the championship winning year. We may not even have to use him, but is if we do, because although it doesn't necessarily mean Mads is moving, because I don't think Bowser, even as the number 3, I don't think he's quite ready yet. But I can see Mads, if going now because of the injury, maybe going in January.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the balance of this goal. So if Mads does go, I do like this balance of if Begovic is second, Stolarczyk is first, and then you've got Bowser. I do like that. That's enough, I think.
Let's be honest with you. We've had a 5-a-side team of goalkeepers before, haven't we?
It's been ridiculous, and it just shows you, you don't buy a load of cheap stuff. I mean, if you want to go quality, and I think we're so lucky with Stolarczyk. We're so lucky the fact that, I mean, when Casper left, we were scratching our heads thinking, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And then for a couple of years, we did have a bit of a messy situation. And we got Mads, and then Stolarczyk came through the academy, and wonderful.
Yes. I mean, would you say that, let's say Mads goes, Stolarczyk gets injured, and this guy has to come in, would you be as worried with him coming in as you would have been with Danny Ward coming in?
Goodness me. I mean, this guy, he's got such a lot of experience, Begovic, hasn't he? In Premier clubs, Championship clubs. He's a real good level, and he seems quite a strong character as well. Whereas Ward, I mean, I don't know whether his confidence was knocked by some fans. I mean, the fans did give him a hard time at some points, but once that situation happens, normally it's best to move on. But I like this guy. Yeah, Ward, his time had come. And if he goes on to play well at Wrexham, then fair play to him. And, this...
Sometimes a new start is what some players need, isn't it?
Yeah, because we thought, apart from Daka's performance yesterday, that's what Daka needed for both. And it's for both sides, isn't it? Sometimes you need to move people on.
Yes, I mean, look, he's been around. He's started at Portsmouth back in 2005 as his senior career. He went out on loan a hell of a lot. He even actually came down to my neck of the woods. He came down to Bournemouth on loan, Yeovil a couple of loans, Ipswich Town on loan. Then he moved to Stoke City, 160 appearances, went to Chelsea, came back to Bournemouth again, 2017 to 2021. Everton 21 to 23, QPR for 45 games. So obviously Marty knows him from a short period. They overlapped for like half a season or whatever it was, and then Everton last season, but he didn't make an appearance for them. But look, this to me makes absolute sense. There's no money involved. He's on a free. He signed a year, and that's, we're not committed to, we're not like with Danny Ward, we're not giving him a 5-year contract or anything. I mean, all that, if he's 38, right? But for goalkeepers, age doesn't matter as much as it does for outfield players, does it?
No, it doesn't. I like the fact that he's done 160 appearances for Stoke, so that 4 or 5 seasons. Bournemouth, and that was when Bournemouth were playing really well, actually, in the Premier. Was that when Eddie Howe was there with them? 107 appearances. And then 45 for QPR, so Cifuentes knows him. So, yeah, it just makes perfect sense. And the money aspects, as you mentioned, Chris, in our situation, what's interesting is because we're with the PSR, and I'm really confident they have done a deal with the AFL. They've got it all sorted out. And this is just how this season will play out for hopefully the PSR to finish. And what's interesting is now it's brought about some really, hopefully a spell of intelligent signings, whereas we've just gone through a good 3 or 4 years of awful signings with some quite ridiculous contracts.
Yes. Oh, totally. But then I guess, and I'll come on to Richard's point to tie in with this, I guess when you're a side that, look, we're not the Premier winning side team anymore. People aren't beat. I know we've got Seagrave and all that, but they're not beating a path to our door to come and play for Leicester City. They can see that we're in trouble. It's all in the news about the PSR and all that sort of thing. And so we've got to sometimes offer that more money to get the players to come in. And we don't go out to sign bad players. I don't care what anybody says. Rudkin doesn't say, well, he doesn't make the final decision, what anybody says. He doesn't pick the players. But, and he goes back and says, right, this player you wanted doesn't want to sign for us. And the manager, whoever it is at the moment, says, well, have a word with Top. I really want him. And then Top says, well, yeah, give him a bit more money. That's maybe what you've got to do to get the players in. This guy's not going to be on an awful lot. But also, I think it's a great move for Bowser as well, because the experience he's going to get off this guy, you would expect, hopefully Stelarczyk doesn't get injured. So you'd hope this guy is not going to play that many games, possibly cup games anyway, just to keep him fit. But the experience he can pass on to Bowser.
Yeah, and I do think, because when you look at it really, when you mention the age of Begovic, then you flip it and look at the age of Stelarczyk and Bowser. That's really young for goalkeepers, established goalkeepers, and they've not had the long-term experience. Even Stelarczyk, when he's played in the cup matches, fans have wanted him to play, especially when Mads came back from injury and he didn't really get the chance straight away. But I mean, I think, for the money side of things, but the age thing, I think it just fits perfectly with 2 younger goalkeepers who have got great prospects. So it's a brilliant move. Such a brilliant move. And then yet another move, and there's been a few lately, where the board, do they actually deserve some praise for some of these things that have been happening?
Look, at the end of the day as well, since Mike Stow was I don't know which manager, I think it was Enzo, wasn't it, that got rid of Mike Stow? Because let's be honest with you, Enzo brought in everybody and his dog. As if there was a guy that does beard shaving training, Enzo had his own man to do that. So we got rid of Mike Stow. We've never really. All right, I know Rude had that guy that was his assistant was also a goalkeeper coach, but it's two jobs he can't be doing, especially as Rude, I believe, didn't actually get heavily involved with training. But this guy, sign him up as a coach as well.
Yeah, and I do think that with the Rodgers era, which at the beginning was, I think, our best ever era. I know we won the Premier League, but for pure football quality, that was the best era.
Yeah.
But Rodgers was the start of dismantling a lot of the back of the scenes stuff that the club had built success on, and I think we're still recovering from that a bit. I know that the Seagrave is sorted out, like the misspend of money and the investing early on with the Maguire money. But hopefully we'll get back to that with it, because a lot of the back room was dismantled by Rodgers, and then when he left, that's the thing. It's like so with Enzo, when he leaves, everybody leaves. So it's that plan of having quality people, and I think that's spot on, Chris. He could end up being a goalkeeping coach. So there's continuity, isn't it?
Yeah, I absolutely think so as well. Look, Richard said here, and it's a fair point that he's made, it doesn't matter who the manager was, the Rudders and co should have done whatever possible to get big earners and even loan if that's the worst possible case. There's nothing worse than bringing the wrong player in. One word, Edouard. Let's say Rudders has said, looked at Connor Cody. Let's take Connor Cody as an example. Looked at Connor Cody and said, Rudders had looked, said, can't afford to, you're too expensive, get out the door, whatever cost. And then the new manager comes in, Cifuentes, and went, do you know what? I quite liked Connor Cody. From what I've seen, and I would have liked to give him a chance. And that's the thing. The season starts in 15 days. The window doesn't shut for over a month. So we're not actually panicking about this window. And it's not even a busy window, is it?
No, and I think that panic, because some fans want action and they demand action. And so with regards to the manager, for instance, but obviously they looked at role, they looked at different people, they did the due process. But then, role is contracting, like you said. Would you want to deal with that that owner of that club? You'd know, like if you sold your house and you dealt with somebody like that, they'd throw things up. They're trying to get some money off and all that sort of thing. But when you mentioned about Cody, I've just got breaking news. 3 defenders had a shocked look on the face, Chris. Look.
You got your lips down. Oh my God, you've not known. Was that a present for you? I'm gonna have a word with your family and friends, because they got you a mug without phase on, or that's probably right, a mug on a mug. But that and the Ruud van Nistelrooy.
I know.
Tell them to stop buying you Leicester City related presents.
I know. I think that this mug is for when you were feeling quite low and you've had a really tough week. You look at that, you think, well, at least I'm not one of these defenders.
Or it just finishes you off.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's turning up for Leicester again on Saturday. But
with regards to Richard's point, I mean, that's what Rob Tanner says when you had Rob Tanner on. He says, well, the trouble is with people saying, look, the board ought to be getting rid of these high earners. He says on the contracts have been given, which is the real issue.
Yeah.
Like the rumours with Cody, for instance, it looked like he was going to Rangers, but people said they're not going to match his wages. They can't afford to up in Scotland. No. So, and he said, Rob Tanner says, first of all, the players got to want to go.
Yeah.
Secondly, he's got to agree. They've got to agree the terms. The club's got to be happy with the terms. The club might have to pay part of the loan, the wages, to get him off the books or at the squad. So there's all those sort of mechanics, and it's not that easy. It's just not that easy to do.
It's not. No, you are 100% right. But as I'll say, the biggest thing is the manager wanted to come in and look at what he's got.
Yeah.
Because as bad as these players are, and look, some of them are bloody awful, let's be honest. We had that discussion post-match last night, didn't we? Some of them are awful. Tom turned into the Hulk, didn't he, really? But, But, I forgot what the point was I was going to make now. But, yes, bad as some of them are, we don't know, under a new manager, they can suddenly be turned around. Vestergaard, look, he's crap in the Premier League, I'm not arguing, and he should not have been given a new contract, because that was like Enzo's parting gift. Thank you very much, Enzo. But when he was in the Championship, he was good. And the fact of the matter is, for the next 12 months, we are in the Championship. Possibly further, we don't know. So these players, again, the other one, Winks, absolutely nowhere near the form that he showed in the Championship in the Premier League, but we're back in the Championship. So the manager's got to come in and have a look. He really, really has, But
yeah, I do think that all those are really good, valid points, Chris. The only thing I would say is the great march of Old Mother Time, because that was 2 years ago, and Vestergaard now is 2 years slower. And at the age of 30,
he's slower. That'd put him in reverse, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, what do you say? It's like there was like some memes about an oil tanker trying to turn around in the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
He was likened to that, and so he's going to be 2 years slower. And that's the same with Winks. And I think I looked at Winks yesterday, and he was chasing shadows.
Yeah.
And I think what it is, 2 years on, at that sort of age, that is 2 years is significant. But 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, not so much. 30s and 2 years is a lot.
He's got a big job on his hand, Marty, hasn't he? Right. The other news, finally, and look, it has been a long time coming. Normally, on the last game of the season, we are looking at the new kit.
Hey.
No. Yes, not for us. Finally, and why they have brought the third kit out. I mean, they had 3 games, right? Now, again, call me simple, if you like, but having worked in advertising for a good 30 years, I would look at that and go, right, we've got 3. We're going to introduce the new third strip on the first game. Now, let's have a bit of fun with the countdown. On the second game, let's introduce the second strip. And then on the last game of the 3, let's introduce the first strip. No, they can't do that. That's too much like a bit of fun, isn't it? But would that not have seemed sensible?
Well, it would, Chris. And if you can see it, why can't other people see it? And that's the question that has been levelled at the board sometimes with, it's like the social media, the fan channels, the Leicester fan channels, knock them out of the park for the content, the way the discussions are, the analysis actually of players and systems and that is far, I used to watch it and I got bored of it, and that's when I come over to watching you guys. And, a lot of things with Leicester City, like the release, social media side of things, the website apparently is really, rubbish to use.
Oh, it's awful. You click on it, you have to wait for it, and it's not the speed of your internet, it's just the website. And then you click again, and because you've got fed up waiting, and it goes on. And the new stuff they're putting out for like team news and things like that, they are so awful. But there we go. Well, let's have a look at it, shall we? What do you think? This is the new first strip. We've got to start with the first strip. I'm
Don't say the team beginning with C, Chris.
No, but I've got to say though, was it yourself or Tom said it? And I was thinking the same when I saw them, and that pissed me off as well, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a new strip out, and the players come out and form a line and shake each other's hand. What was LCFC TV doing? Were they zooming in on the new kit? Were they fucked? No, they're fighting about with the wide shots and everything. And, I know they had a minute silence. I appreciate that. But, it was not until after that when they finally honed in on one of our players wearing it. And again, you want to sell this, guys. Why aren't you blasting it into everybody's, face or whatever you? But, look, this is LCFC, isn't it? But as a shirt, I mean, I might end up with one. I'm not saying how, where, or whatever. But as far as I understand things, I won't be actually spending any of my hard-earned cash on it. But what do you think of it?
I think the trouble is with these kits, they always look better on professional football who train with schools.
What are you trying to say?
like me, for instance. I mean, so you fall in love with that, and you put it. You get home and you put it on. You're thinking, Oh, that doesn't look like it does on the LCFC website.
No, that is very true. That is very true.
No, but I do like some. I think they're trying to tweak and go with some fresh designs. And I'm going to buy definitely some of the one of the training tops I love, but also the pink. I'm going to buy that pink top because I like the original pink top, but that with the stripe down, I think it's beautiful.
For me, this one, it's hard to see, but there is actually pinstripes in there, which I think are a very, very fine gold. But if you're going to do stripes, go back to the Alan Smith, Gary Lineker era when we had the Steve Lynix, when we had the green and yellow and the blue and white.
No, Chris. Those shorts should never see the light. Those shorts are the 80s kits.
Not this show. No, maybe not. Maybe it showed a little bit too much, possibly. But no, but Linford Christie could never wear them. But I just think if you're going to do stripes, then at least do stripes. Do you know what I mean? Because that you can't even really tell. But I do like the neck and do like it. But you did mention it. That is absolutely bloody gorgeous.
Wow. Yeah. I think that it's got a punchy design. So it's against the pink, isn't it? So the original pink third kit was like the City badge looked great against the pink, and then you've got the punchy Adidas stripes on the shoulders, the Saigon badge, and then you've got the badge and those stripes down there. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, I mean the other pink as well. This is a bolder pink. This is the other one was more of, I think, a lighter pink. And the only problem with the other one that I did, they had that design, the lines going across and then up or down and then across again. But they didn't stand out.
No.
They were like yellowy orange on a pink. It didn't really stand out. This is so bold. And what I was just saying about stripes? I absolutely love that white and black stripe. And with the black shorts, it may even make me wear a pair of shorts.
Yeah, they're beautiful. It reminds me of the Germany kit, like back in the 70s, 80s or something. It's interesting though, Chris. You says, "Oh, that's a bolder pink." So I'm thinking, hey, Chris knows his way around lipstick shades, doesn't there?
Hey, passion pink they call it.
No, that's really that is. I've been disappointed with some of the kits coming out the last few years, but that is really smart.
Wouldn't it be funny if this strip outsold the blue one though?
Well, but was it Kate said when they came out, they sold out, didn't they? The original pink kit, and I think these will go rapidly.
Yes, I do indeed. Right. Well, having said that, we did see that for 2 games, and this was the second game. 100% record up to here. FC Colne 3, including a penalty, given away by Tom's favourite player, Skippy. What's that, Skippy? What's that? You've given away a penalty. For those of you that are old enough to remember.
It's funny how Skippy used to go, what's that, Skippy? He used to go, he says, what? You found the solution for world peace, and it includes like a worldwide conference and everything like that. He's done 3 clicks and he's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Also, just go back, as Asler's in. Hi, mate, how you doing? Needs Walkers on it. You see, you've got to be careful because, like I've said, and this is tongue-in-cheek, but we're going to come on to the shirt sponsor later in the show. But if you have Eind Coop or Everard or somebody like that, you can't have advertising on beer or get youngsters drinking or what have you. If you have Walker's Crisps on, you're going to get obesity. Obesity is so bad in this country. Where does it end? But look, going back to the match, these were the toughest team that we played. And we're not going to go too much into the ins and outs of it, but just go back and look at the watch along, and it is all segmented so you can see where the post-match bit is. But they were the toughest game we played, and I said, even at half-time, Ruud van Nistelrooy's back. it did remind me of one of his performances. It just, the cohesion that we had seen in the previous games wasn't there. Now, I know that the teams were mixed up and half were here and half were there, but we had, I would say, the most experienced players in this game against the most experienced team that we've played all pre-season. Like you say, they've just got promoted. I didn't realise. I think I got my seasons mixed up. As you pointed out, they got promoted back to the Bundesliga for this coming season. Has that kind of peed on the party, as they say, burst the bubble?
Well, I think yes. And I think the reason is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they were well up for it. Secondly, the step up in this opposition, who's obviously just been promoted back to the Bundesliga, to Lviv, was massive. They made Lviv kind of look almost like a local town football team, really. This was a massive step up. In fact, when I first started, I sort of took a dog for a walk and got back and then settled, and I started watching it and thinking...
That's not a euphemism if anybody's watching when he says take the dog for a walk.
I sat down and started watching it and thinking, wow, these are really good. And then there's the passages of play, the way they broke forward, how organised they were, and how they committed forward. All the things that was Marty said he wants to do, FC Cone were doing it. Yeah. And I think secondly, because they were so good, it literally shocked. I think there's a lot of shocked players out there that had been able to play around and have the time and space, and then they came across a really professional, very motivated, well-drilled side, and it took a while for them to catch the breath. And they were better in all departments.
Yes, they were.
The way they fashioned goal chances, the way they defended, the way they played through midfield. In fact, our midfield, they just outplayed everybody, really. Yeah, they
did, which annoyed Tom again, didn't it? And if you want to know, we actually on a Monday night, guys, we do a show now at 9 o'clock called Talking Balls, and it's if you've seen the Talking Balls, we've done them from down the pub and what have you. But this is, we all sit there, and I've introduced a new part to it, which is Tom's tirade, when he's going to actually go off on one. I'm going to give him a subject, and the subject he's going to get on Monday night, and I have told him, is are Winks and Skip our best two midfielders? So I'm sure. I know. But I mean, their season doesn't even kick off until the 22nd, 23rd of August. So that's like a couple of weeks after us, or a week after us, possibly. But yeah, they just were up for it. Now, Planet Earth has said here, Marty was testing players and systems yesterday, so let's not get too down by the result, and positive that Marty is more aware what players can and start do. Very good point, Planet. Very, very good point indeed. And maybe it shows him, as Azza says there, I'm going to call you Bazza, mate. It's a lot easier. Bazza. It shows how crap Cody Investor is. Well, it also shows how crap Winks and Skip were as well. And maybe that's what he was wanting to see. If any of those four players start against Sheffield Wednesday, then I don't think March is the man we think he is.
No, and it's interesting. So you think, okay, so let's do some logical switching here. So why didn't Marty play the side that played Cone against Lviv? Is it because he wanted to expose them and think, okay, so you are the professionals, you're the internationals, played for the national team, and let's see what you can do. And it was clear and obvious they were a yard behind everything, and it was glaringly obvious. And they look fantastic and so well drilled, but I think these players allowed them also to look brilliant. Yes.
I'm just going to see some player. We're going to look at Jordan Blackford's player ratings here. He hasn't actually given them a rating. But I thought he was going to give them a rating. But look, when I look at this team, And look, we've got to say, Ben Nelson, if he's not starting against Sheffield Wednesday, something's wrong, because he played in one game, drove how far it was to this game, and played in this game as well. Ben Nelson has got to be a prime starter. Look, Stolarczyk, there's a couple of good goals. I'm not saying that he was at fault for either of those. And really, when you throw a penalty into the mix, and I know I'm, grasping at straws here, but although it was a 3-1, it wasn't really a 3-1, was it? It was kind of a 2-1. But on the performance, we didn't deserve anything from it. Luca, I thought, did all right. Cody and Vestergaard at the back, I would get rid of Cody. I would get rid of Faze. You may or may not know, if you're regulars of this channel, my thoughts about Faze. Indeed, I would keep Vestergaard purely as a backup, because I think he's a defense. He's got no speed, no turning ability, can't jump higher than an inch, but he can place the ball on a sixpence from one end of the pitch to the next. So, Skip and Winks, I said before this game, I really want to see Skip and Winks play together. And when they played together against whoever it was we played a couple of days ago, I thought they didn't look too bad. My God, how wrong was I? They were absolutely awful, the pair of them. Casey McAteer, Louis Page were right. Monga was our man of the match. Ayew did okay, did what we know he does, and the youngsters. Big point we made, though, and you made it as well, Wayne. The youngsters showed the senior players up.
Yeah, they did in the attitude. And I think it's interesting with Vestergaard. If you asked a question like, okay, so if you had to keep one experienced defender, who would it be? I would say Vestergaard, because Faz and Cody have got to go. And I think Marty's the same kind of temperament in personality as Enzo. And I'm hoping that although he's got real limited time, he has got intelligence, it seems. And I hope he will explain to certain players that, like what Chelsea did, well, if you want to, you can go and play in the reserves. Yeah. Because you're not going to feature in your, and he does seem that kind of guy, although we've not seen any of that so far from him. When he came in, he said, look, everything quick. We need everything quick. We've all had holidays. This is where it starts. And I do think he will sort the team out. But yeah, so the young ones, so Vestergaard passing, punching balls through stood out, and we needed him because we haven't got anybody else in the team that could do that since like Maddison left. But the thing is, with all the young kids, they can do the punching passes through, they can dribble through, like Ben Nelson. When you've got Nelson, you don't need Vestergaard. You really don't. No.
Oh, I'm not having Vestergaard as a starter, believe you me. But what I'm saying is, you do have to have one experienced backup player that you might just want to bring on. If we're winning 1-0 but taking an absolute battering, you're thinking, right, I want to bring on a Wes Morgan or somebody like that. I'm not saying Vestergaard's Wes Morgan, don't get me wrong, but out of those three, he's the one I would like to have at the back.
Spot on.
Yeah. But I don't. He's not a starter for me. For me, it's Nelson and Okoli. If
you do need that, I think in the defence, midfield, and attack. That's why Ayew, and then you'd have to pick your midfield. If Indeed he stayed, I'd prefer Indeed. And then you got this. That would be a perfect balance. Same with Begovic, isn't it, Chris? It's having that bit of experience.
Yes. Right, moving to the next one. Leicester City handed financial boost for potential summer transfer push. We've basically taken out another loan.
Yeah. And some fans are saying about it, but we've always done it, haven't we?
We have. I tell you what, where are we? Let me just... here we go. What worries me about it, right? So the club have taken out another loan with Australian bank Macquarie, which, or however you pronounce it, which is the one we always use, potentially to help their transfer business this summer under the new manager Marty Cifuentes. That said, the club has still said we've got to sell before we can bring in. The deal was filed at Company's House this week. Now, this is what worries me. It says here on Leicestershire Live, the loan is secured against Premier League funds owed to Leicester City until June 2028, including parachute payments that are due to receive following their fall into the Championship. So when I first did this earlier in the week, and when I do these things, I've got to pick bits out because I can't put the whole story on. Yeah. And I hadn't realised it was funds owed to Leicester City. So, right, okay, fair play. So we're going to get the well, what is it? Was it 13 million or something we got for finishing 18th or whatever? I mean, whether that's all paid in one or not, I don't know.
But the parachute payments are really considerable, aren't they? I read an article, and it's like that Championship where you had to get Kieran on because it was really difficult to decipher all that information and put it in it where you could understand it, wasn't it? But the bank loan, Chris, I mean, that's standard for businesses. Get businesses and they need like a bridging loan or something, just because it's like when you sell a player, you don't get all that money straight away, do you? It's in installments often, which I didn't realise. So that maybe just allows you to factor certain deals and get them over the line.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we did not, we didn't get a cheque through the post or a bank transfer for 30 million for Kearsby Dewsbury Hall. We'll get it in stages and what have you. And that's why, I mean, rumours are he's available again. But yeah, no, I mean, it does make sense. And now I've sort of read that against Premier League funds owed to us. So
and that's not money that might come in. That's definitely coming in. So
yeah. Well, obviously the only might is if we get promoted back to the Premier League, then we lose whatever parachute payments we'd have got, because it goes down every year. So obviously what Leicester City's plan is to get promoted, get a year of Premier League money, get relegated so that we get the biggest amount for the first year we're relegated, get promoted again, get the Premier League money for a season, get relegated again, get the first year's parachute payment. Oh, I know what they're up to. I can see it. But yeah, like you say, it is standard practice. Right, shall we get on to the controversial bits now?
Come on, let's go for it.
Now, Josimar, who are a very good... I actually saw... when it first broke about BC Game, possibly they'd lost the licence, etc., etc. And I think it was Josimar that broke that. And then I actually contacted BC Game and said, what the hell's going on? I haven't done that with K-Bet because they're in negotiations possibly with us, so they're not going to say anything, where BC Game, we'd already got them. I tell you what, though, they were right with the shirt, weren't they? Because this goes back before the shirt was announced, and it was spot on. Whoever did this with the shirt, spot on. Betting, like I say, it's Walker's obesity, Everard's alcoholism. Betting is betting. Do I look at the players that go out in that shirt and think, oh, I'm going to have a bet? Now, you've walked into the stadium, not just Leicester Stadium, any stadium around the country, Wayne, and to get out onto the pitch, the chances are you've gone past one or two betting booths. Not Betty Boothroyd, she was the Speaker in the House of Commons. But, there's betting booths in there for different companies, isn't there? So does this... And then you've also got to... You can only have it for a year anyway, because at the end of this season or the upcoming season, we can't have betting on our shirts, despite the fact that we are playing in the Sky Bet Championship.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing. I think the issue with K-Bet is, as our previous sponsor, is they're not regulated either. They're not got a license in the UK. I did actually listen to somebody who read all the documentation on the company, and they've been investigated before. I think they're under investigation at the minute by the British Betting Association. And one thing I will say with betting, I agree. I mean, when the Grand National come round, I always like kids, come on, let's all have a bet. So we did it. It was a bit of fun. And most people are like that, but there are a certain element of people who get caught out. And the one thing I'll say about gambling is, I didn't realise somebody did some research in gambling. And the problem with gambling is that when you gamble and you get that rush of winning and you kind of get hooked, when you gamble and you're actually losing, it produces the same endorphins that winning does.
Okay.
So what it is, that's sort of like in something that goes on deep within the addictive nature of certain things. It's like food manufacturers that do 2 carbohydrates to 1 protein, and all your fast food follows that thing because they've all paid millions of dollars to research on rats will eat till the stomach's full, but then you put 2 to 1 protein to carbohydrate and rats will eat till the stomachs explode. So all these companies have done all the research and they're now to get people hooked. So that's the one element of gambling that it has a lot of damage. But with regards to they're unregulated, Chris. These are
right. Let me first of all, the point. Very good point about that. And we should point out here. I normally have a sign up. Gambling's not the answer if you've got money problems. And yes, I mean, as they say, once the fun stops, stop. GambleAware.org is where you need to go if you've got gambling problems. It is addictive. I smoked for 20 years, and more than 20 years. I probably smoked for 35 years, something like that. I was giving up for the last 15 of them, but I couldn't give up because I was hooked, right?
Yeah.
Anything can hook you.
Yeah.
I do this show, and I do 6 shows a week. I'm hooked on this because it's my hobby.
Yeah.
I've got a very addictive personality, and that's why I don't bet. I think I've got 17 quid with a Bet 365, and I only opened an account there so I could watch because they were showing the game. So, yes, it is addictive, but you've got to, at some point, say to the adults in this country, when you buy a packet of salted peanuts and there's a warning on the back saying may contain nuts. No shit, Sherlock. But if they don't put it on and somebody who's got a nut allergy eats a packet of peanuts, then how stupid is that guy or woman for eating a packet of peanuts when they've got a nut allergy? You've got, how, at what point do you stop spoon feeding the people in this thing? Now, about them not being regulated, I get that. And I'm going to go back to BC Game because they weren't regulated either.
No.
Baz has just said then I wouldn't care if it was Bet 365. The problem is that these companies are looking at their market. Their market, and it was the same with BC Game, their market is not the UK market. They do not want you and me to bet. What they want is Leicester's target audience, which is very, very big in in Thailand and around that area, obviously. That's what they are looking at. That's what they want. When you went onto BC Games' website, it said you are not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to bet from your country. Now, all right, if you really wanted to, you could pay for a VPN and get around that, etc., etc. But they don't. So they're not aiming it at us. They're aiming it at the worldwide audience that, we're on telly how many times in the first 8 or 9 games? It's 7 or 8 times we're on telly.
Yeah.
It's that audience that they're getting, and that audience, because it's Britain's, and we are still the fact we've got to remember we are still the team that's won that Premier League and won an FA Cup. So we are maybe a little bit sort of more of interest to people around the world than, say, no disrespect, Oxford United or Charlton Athletic. But that's what they're aiming at. So should we be worried that it's not not regulated in this country when people in this country can't bet unless they're breaking the law by are they breaking the law by getting a VPN? I don't know, but it's like they can't bet in this country, so they're having to be a bit dodgy to be able to bet. That's not K-Bet's fault.
No, I think when I listen to this guy, so why are they not complying with UK laws? So that's the question I ask. So why, what?
Because they're not based in this country.
Yeah, he seemed to think that it's because they didn't want to have restrictions on the market that they could attract.
Well,
basically.
maybe so. Why does Google have its European office in Ireland?
Tax.
Because it pays less tax.
Yeah.
You know, so there's all these examples. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that I definitely want this. And in fairness, it's a better logo than BC Game anyway. All I'm saying is, I don't see what all the fuss is about. Susan Whelan's job is to go and get the best deal that she can on our shirt sponsorship. You know, and everybody's been going mad like, oh, we haven't had a sponsor on the shirts. And yet when we've got a sponsor, everybody's saying, oh, I don't like that. Oh, yeah, so you can't have it both ways. You've watched 3 games with a new strip with no sponsor on. Enjoy it. Because, you know, we complain about having to have this, you know, these sponsors on. But her job is to go out and get the best deal that she can for Leicester City. And with BC Game, that was a considerable amount over the next person that was offering us anything. As a business, do you not take the best offer?
You do, and in that regard, she's done excellently, to be honest. I mean, to get that deal and establish it. Yeah, definitely. I just think it's a shame that we are. My question is, so would you need to do that if you had been better off financially? Like, would Top need to write off all the debt if we'd been better at money management? Because that, if you get people paying your debt off, that screams to me that's mismanagement of money.
Totally. And Chelsea have just done exactly the same. The company that bought all these hotels and car parks and what have you, it was on Kieran Maguire's, who comes on here. You mentioned him earlier on his Twitter, and they've just turned a lot of debt into equity and shares and what have you. So, you know, it goes around. You still, I think, you know, I mean, again, I know what you're saying, and I'm not supporting and saying that we should have K-Bet. All I'm saying is that we should have the best offer. Even if we were financially sound, let's say, and all right, let's say, you know, you're Susan Whelan. You need to use IMAX, Susan, by the way.
Let's get a wig, yeah.
Doesn't it's not a look that suits you. But you're Susan Whelan. We are, you know, we're no longer a Premier League team. That's probably why we've lost, you know, BC Game. People aren't necessarily falling over us to sponsor us. Although you think with all the amount of time we're in the news and the publicity they're going to get. So they're not actually beating a path to our door. And then you get K-Bet to come along and say, like, I'll give you, I'm plucking these figures out the air, so nobody quote me on these. I'll give you 10 million for a year sponsorship. I know we can only do it for a year because at the end of the day, then we can't support it. Be interesting to see whether Sky Sports Championship and all that the adverts around the side of the ground. So I'm going for 10 years. And then Topps Tiles comes along. Absolutely nothing wrong with tiles. You know, it's not alcohol, it's not food, it's not betting. They come along and go, we'll sponsor you for a year. We'll give you 6.5 million. We're financially sound. We're financially safe. Which one are you going to take as a businessman?
Well, that's the thing. Certain businesses do the ethical thing, and it actually ends up raising the share price. That's quite an interesting, yeah.
But we haven't got shares, have we? So let me cut you back on that one. But you see the point I'm making.
Yeah, definitely. And that is like in a lot of things. There's no right or wrong answer, is there?
No.
It's just you pay your money and you take your choice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we've just got to take the best, especially in the financial position we do find ourselves in now. You know, we look at it and we've got to think, you know, maybe. I mean, what would we do if let's say Shell came along and said, "We'll give you 10 million." You're going to get all the Just Stop Oil people going mad in there, aren't you?
It'd be carnage in the car park, wouldn't it, Chris?
It would, exactly. Yeah, you would get into the car park. Being facetious, but you know what I mean. So that's going to run and run, I'm sure. Yeah. All I care about is it's very two-faced, because if they're saying we can't have this, I know Sky Sports is UK regulated or whatever, Sky Bet, sorry, at the moment. But next season, when we can't have something like that on our shirts, are they going to be allowed still to sponsor the 3 leagues? Are we still going to see their adverts going around the hoardings on the around the pitch? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Now, transfer news, young man. I mean, we have, not that we've signed anybody else, because we've just signed Begovic this morning. And if anyone wants to know, we talked about that right at the top of the show. We need another striker, don't we? I mean, or do we? I mean, I think we do.
Oh, yeah, we do. We definitely do. I mean, Daka, yeah, great. But there was a game, was it against West Brom, where he caught the ball on the halfway line, flicked it round with the outside of his foot, ran into the box and smacked it in the top left-hand corner. And we thought, oh, my God, the guy that scored 4 in Europe is back again. And then that's it. So it's early days. Rude couldn't.
He got
Rude
2
couldn't
goals.
Develop him, could he?
No.
He couldn't develop him. No.
I mean, yeah, we got a manager who scored 10 in 10, and he couldn't get the player that scored 11 in 11, or the player that he was allegedly interested in at PSG to score.
Yeah.
But then again, nor could Enzo. In fairness,
no. Now,
if Enzo,
and I think like anything, Chris, that was it. One swallow doesn't make a summer. So
it doesn't.
I think you can get caught away. It's like Samara, isn't it? Where Brad, and I really wanted Brad's redemption arc to work, but then he just went back to his type and his default setting. And you find players have default settings. And what is a default setting? It's going to be interesting to see what Daka does. Yeah.
Yes. And look, let's not write Daka off, because, like I say, new manager, new start for all the players. So we will wait and see. But I think when you look at Daka and think 3 managers, 4 managers haven't got anything out of him, maybe, we are sort of, trying to flog a dead horse sort of thing. Now, I would have very, very much liked Josh Windass.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah. He's gone to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Well done, Wrexham. And they've just got somebody else they've signed as well.
To be honest, Chris, Wrexham, I thought they might this season, I think Ant said it, that, they might well run out of steam this year because the Championship is very different. I know Ipswich kind of did it, but signing Windass, that is a good signing, that is.
Well, they're in talks to sign Sheffield United striker Kiefer Moore.
He's like a workhorse. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, you know what you get with him. They are also, I can't believe I'm reading this, Wrexham mounted a bid to sign Christian Eriksen.
Wow.
Now, look, if you're Christian Eriksen and you're rich and you're not particularly bothered about, you can afford to maybe take a wage cut, it's the dream, isn't it? I mean, it's the pull of the fact that it's who they are and who they're owned by. But for me, Josh Windass would have come on a free, would have, and this is one of the things that, whilst I'm saying we've had to wait for the new manager to come in and bed in to see what he wants, this is one that I think we may regret missing. 14 goals last season, 5 assists in a team like Sheffield Wednesday, which, let's be honest with you, they're not the best team in the league. And I think he would have been, can you imagine him getting the service from, McAteer, Monga, Fatawu, Mavadi? I mean, oh my God, it would have been absolutely brilliant. Not on a too long a deal because of his age, but in the Championship, I think he would have been doing all right. However, that ship has set sail. But the other striker we've been linked with is Mr. Bamford.
No, Chris, no. Next.
You can't just say no. What is it?
No, do I think he's a Premier League striker? Yes. But has he had a continuity of play where he's not been injured? He's had several injury stints. And I think if he'd have been fit in when they last came into the Premier League, they would have stayed up. It's like if we don't get a striker, we do need a striker, and we need a Windass kind. But I hope that we'll get a drop down from the Premier League. So if like Chelsea sign new people, Liverpool, I just hope we get somebody that looks at our club and our manager who is 24, 25, 26 and has perhaps played for England, is on the Chelsea books, Man City books. But this guy's too prone to injury, Chris. He's just too prone to injury. And I bet his wages will be quite significant.
Yeah. Now
he's a quality footballer. He can ball head.
Yeah, he said, I would take Brownhill as a destroyer in our midfielder. In our midfield, we need that type of mentality. I think we've got enough in midfield, to be honest with you, with the youngsters that are coming through. I don't think midfield is a particularly try. But look, he's age 31. He's played 192 games for Leeds. He scored 56 goals, which probably might be down to injuries, but that's a 1 in every 3 1/4 games. I mean, for God's sake, we'd take, if you could sign 1 goal in 10, we'd have taken him last season, wouldn't we, for God's sake? But,
yeah, but 1 in 3 3/4, that's only like 10 plus goals a season, is it? Basically 10, 12.
But if you're playing in a team that, I agree with what you're saying, and I think you have got to take your injuries into that. Apparently he plays the piano, violin, guitar and saxophone.
There you go. Sign him up.
Well, thing is, as soon as you say he's injured, that surely has got to get John Rudkin's ears a twitching, hasn't it? Yeah. Oh, an injured player. Oh, yeah. Drive me there.
Well, as Craig said as well, Chris, when he went to America and watched that team, he says they had so many drums in the brass section, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He might be able to sort of get that organised at the King Power.
Yes, yeah. And he can speak French, Spanish and German.
You're not his agent, are you, Chris?
No, I'm just reading his wiki page, But look, he was at Chelsea for 5 years, never played once for them. He was out at loan at Milton Keynes twice, Derby, Middlesbrough, Palace, Norwich, Burnley. Then Middlesbrough bought him for 1 season. 47 games for Middlesbrough, scored 12 goals. I have to say, not for me. Not for me. I think if you were looking at him being 25, 26, then you may look at it. And we know that, Marty does like, I feel like we're on first name terms now. Marty does like the younger players. 2/3 of the players he signs are under 25. So this might not fit his profile. And we've already got Ayew, who, let's be honest with you, is in his 30s. So we don't need another 30-year-old. So I think we both agree there. I wouldn't be overly disappointed. Let me just say that. But I wouldn't get excited by it.
No, the trouble is these players as well. It's like with Demari Gray and like Mavididi used to. You kind of romantically look at these players and remember seeing them score some brilliant goals. But for me, it's like, what's the output of this player? It's like Dakar or anybody. What's the output? Are they disrupting attacks? Are they making tackles? Are they stopping goals? Yeah. Are they scoring goals? Are they making assists? And in his current state, I don't think he might do, but I'd say it's a very slim chance that he will. And the manager just does not buy players this age, I don't think.
No. But time will tell. Time will tell. Right. That doesn't excite me. This kind of does. Finnish wonder kid linked with the Foxes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's that good, whether he'd be linked with a bottom half Premier League team. It's Finnish teenager Matthias Filtonen. Well done, Chris. City, Rennes, PAOK, and 2 unnamed Bundesliga sides are the latest club to set their sights on the 18-year-old, according to German broadcaster RTL. So he wouldn't take a space up in the squad. Manchester City and Bournemouth are also said to remain interested following January links. Now, if I was this kid, out of everybody that's been mentioned, like Bundesliga, you've got to say, depending who the two teams are, you know, that might be a pull. I have to say, I wouldn't go to Manchester City. Or I would say 2 words to anybody that's thinking of moving to Manchester City: Jack Grealish.
Yeah, you imagine if he's got a poster of Jack Grealish on his wall.
Yes, yeah. Bournemouth would be an excellent move for him, I think. The only thing you've got against Bournemouth and going to be giving Leicester a chance is the fact that of our recent history. And, I'm not going back too far because I'm talking, Premier League, FA Cup and all that. So, but again, do we know? Let's have a look.
His stats are super impressive, aren't
they? Yeah. I'm just trying to see what position he plays. Oh, base of midfield.
Yeah, he plays like behind just in front. He's like central defensive midfielder, but he breaks forward, he keeps the ball. Did he play 40-odd games in one season at 17 years old or something crazy like that, I think?
No, he made his career debut at 15, and he was a regular at the base of midfield for Queeps, is it? Or Coops? Last year, as they won the league and cup double in Finland. All right, look, we know buying players from abroad, you're a little bit risky, as in Daka, he was setting the world alight. But then again, occasionally you get a Haaland come along.
Yeah, definitely. He does sound like, not Monger-esque, but he sounds like a Grealish, like somebody who is really got high quality, because from what I read, he's really good at keeping hold of the ball.
Yes.
And he does like to drive forward as well, which is the criticism that we had yesterday in the match, isn't it? Our midfield does not drive forward.
No. I mean, look, it says here in the... I mean, he's affordable. Last time he moved, it was for £1 million.
Yeah.
£1 million, €1 million, €1 million. It says there at City, he'd be fighting for his place against the likes of, are you ready for this? Harry Winks, Oliver Skip, and Boubacar Samari. Get him in. Get the ferry over to Finland and get him in, Wayne.
Exactly. Imagine his mum and dad would be going, "Go on, you can flip in." Those old fogies.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got to say, I'm very impressed with your new way of rating players. Now we have the Monger thermometer. Monger there is how high. Monger-esque, I think, was the word you used. This would excite me, I have to say.
And what's interesting as well, Chris, is that so we talked about Grealish going to Man City, and what was the Leeds player that went to Man City? Ayling, but Monger chose to stay with Leicester because obviously his family and care support system, and talking with the club, he saw that was his best path. So you look at somebody like this, and he might look at Leicester, as you said, and think.
In fairness, and we have to accept that's what we are. I mean, look at Phil Foden as well.
Yeah,
he's ruined his career.
Yeah,
but it's for some players it's about money. For some people, it's about loan. And I know whether we're talking about El Kanouche. Let's come on to him. He's also been linked with West Ham. Everybody seems to have been linked with West Ham.
Yeah,
and I was talking to my Iceland delivery man. He's a West Ham fan. And he was saying, we've been linked with him. Obviously, been linked with everybody, haven't they? West Ham with us, but is he any good? And I said, in a poor, poor's the wrong word. In a shit Leicester City team last season, he was the best, right? But it's like saying, I'm going to have the apple with less bruises on for my lunch. I said, but we do know there's a talent there, right? So, and he said, well, we could buy him now because he's got this get-out clause maybe of, anything from 25 to 30 million. But I believe we've told Leeds that they've got to pay 30 or something. So I don't know. We won't know exactly what's the contract says or anything like that. But he's got that in him. So he said, look, we will either buy him for 25 million. Let's put it in the middle and go 25 million and develop him into a great player. Or do we wait and leave him with Leicester and then in a couple of years come back and have to play you 60, 70 million? It's good, and they're probably looking at that and thinking the same with Mads Manson. Although West Ham channel did say that he'd only be back up to Areola, so I don't know. I think he's better than
the thing, Chris. Going to a bigger club is not more often than not a dream move because it depends. You can't say if I come to you, I demand to be in the first 11. But you want a fair go, crack at your position in the team. And that's a consideration. So some people will go to a lower Premier club, which West Ham almost are, because they think, manager might say, look, because sometimes they will say to him, look, basically, I want you to be my number one. Which is what Enzo did, City did with Hermanson, and so I want you to be the number one. Yes, you are going to have to produce. You're going to have to, you're going to have to show us that you are, and you can adjust. But that's what I want from you. But whereas other people might say, well, look, there's two people for this slot. Are you willing to come and fight for your place?
Yes, yeah. I mean, talking Ndidi there, I'm a little bit kind of torn on Ndidi. Because he's the one we could probably get the money for, 9 million apparently, he's been linked with. He's not the player he was, and he'll never get back to that player, but I think he has been for us a good player. And when you look at who he's up against, as in Winks, Tamari, Skip, he's the one, like with Vestergaard, he's the one I would prefer to keep.
Definitely, Chris. Yeah, that's one thing that's shown over these matches is you know what you're getting with Ndidi. And I do think a lot of players last season, it's like Vardy was accused of it, but then towards the end he got a couple of goals. He will go to a club, and if he goes to a club with decent footballs, he will score goals. And I think Ndidi, in a better, you could look very rubbish or even crap if you play around with, if you've not got people in the team that you can play football with and who will help you have the structure of the team. So I think he's had his injury. He's just been playing in a team that, we got promoted from the Championship, but we should have been. We had an expensive squad. We had parachute payments. So I think for our side where we are, if we can sell El Kanous and Mads Manson and we don't need to then sell anybody to buy one or two players in like a striker, I would say keep him. Because we've got all the young kids, get rid of Skip and Winks, keep him, and then we've got the young kids. He's the mentor for the young kids. You don't want Winks or Skip mentoring the young kids. You want Ndidi.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I've got no defence of Skip anymore, or Winks for that matter.
Yeah, on paper, that I agree with what you said, Chris. On paper, they look to be a dream package, don't they? Skip and Winks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, football's not played on paper; it's played on grass. They're shit at that.
I could have them in my suicide football team, couldn't I?
You could, definitely. Baz said he's got a Newcastle link now. I guess that's El Kanous he's talking about there. Right. So let's just sort of round up at the other bits of odd news that I haven't put up. Just to say, Fox's defender, Wilson Brown, has signed for Swindon Town on loan.
Yeah, good move for him, Chris, really. You've got to if he can get regular, it's like when KDH or Barnes, they go down, they get regular first team football, they come back better players, don't
they? They do. And I think if you look at Wilson Brown, and look, we've seen him, how he's played and what have you. And Mads apparently has been linked. Sorry, Mads has been linked with Newcastle. Sorry. Look, it's an agent's wet dream this month, isn't it? At the moment, everybody's been linked. Everybody. I mean, I think Wilson Brown would be, if you're going to say who's going to break through in the defence, Nelson, obviously, Akolu, more than likely. Wilson Brown, probably not. Probably not. So it's good that he's going out. I just want to go back to the transfer window then, because it's actually a very quiet transfer window, isn't it? There's not that much happening.
No, but to be honest, Chris, I really am a believer in sometimes in life you need to stand still, and activity just for activity's sake or to please people. When you're running an organisation, you run a sales team and different things. You've got to make good decisions. You wouldn't just appoint the first interviewer that came to see you. That there'd be warning flags. You'd want to because if you appoint the right person, it makes your job a lot easier. And I think the one thing I'm impressed with Leicester this season is the fact that they have got I think they've got the best manager they possibly could have got in our situation. They've got Monga sorted out. And I do like the way Leicester are going about the pre-seasons. Like, as you said before, they're not signing. I think they're going about things in a really well-measured, logical way. And, just seeing how all the bits fits together. And I think after
it's a long time since you said that about Leicester, isn't it?
Well, I think after these games, he's now seen enough to then, and I think he will know now what he needs to buy or what he'd like to buy, and who he'd like to move on. I think he's got a really clear picture. Yes.
As I say, I don't think we've missed out that much on the retirement home. Welcomes the latest in Begovic. I think I'm going to say, Tony, I think it's a great signing. I don't think you need to buy somebody young that, you want that person. We said earlier, so do go back and watch it. He gives you that stability and that backup, and that's all he's going to be. Like Jupokovic. I had no worry when Jupokovic came in because he came to us from Hull as their number one, and I would have had no problem with it. And he did start a few games for us. But, let's be honest with you, his arse was well smooth, wasn't it? He'd polished that bench so much. But yeah, I just don't think with the transfer window, we've yet to see it kick into life. Man United, they've not really signed, but who'd go to Man United these days? Newcastle, we're waiting for that one first big domino to fall. And then after that,
if Isaac goes to, is it Liverpool? Who's after Isaac? Somebody.
It's a couple, aren't they? Yes.
Yes. If he goes, then everything starts turning. And I think it's like playing poker, isn't it? You wait for the tells and things like that. And I do think we will benefit from with our manager, the way our manager wants to buy young players. I do think hopefully we'll get an ex-Premier, a guy that's had experience in the Premier, but he just knows he won't get first team football. Like how Enzo cleared people out of Chelsea. Could we get somebody? Yeah.
Well, look at Ben Chilwell. You're not going to get a game. Go and play with the lads. End up going out on loan. Yeah. Maybe that's what we need. Somebody that's got a bit of balls. We could have signed, and I use the word striker very loosely because he's played a lot all over the place. Jeffrey Schlupp. He's back in the Championship. Norwich City, is it?
Yeah. I mean, when he came on the scene, he was so fast and direct. He didn't get a lot of goals, but he worked very hard, and he came up with moments of magic. And he's served Crystal Palace well, really. It's going to be interesting to see how he does.
I mean, I think the people in Rose Dead were more worried than the opposition goalkeeper was.
Yeah.
Although my most embarrassing moment as when I was doing a watch along was saying, "Oh my!" And I said it on the watch along. "Oh my God, Jeffrey Schlupp's come on!" And I actually went onto the Facebook group and typed in, "Oh my God, Jeffrey Schlupp's come on." Pressed send, and literally as I pressed send, the ball hit the back of the net. Commentator, I tried it a few other times and it never worked again, But he was never going to get him. I mean, that goal that he got in the Premier League winning side, I mean, I think that came off his shin or something.
Yeah.
It's never. I don't mean it horribly, but he was just never my favourite player. I've got to say, But and I think Jeremy. Here we go. This will please you. We'll end on this one. Jeremy Monga at the heart of Marty Cifuentes' biggest positive dilemma as quartet need reconsidering. Talking points from Leicester City victory over Lviv and defeat to Cologne as they get towards the Sheffield Wednesday. Let's have a look what it says. Had Ricardo and Mavididi been fit to play in the second game in place of Aluku and Page, that would have been pretty close to the starting lineup. Oh, God, no. No, because in that starting lineup, we had Cody Vestergaard, Winks, and Skip.
Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall with I don't know what his other head coach, his assistant coach is called. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, hearing them dissect those players' performances.
Yeah. Mr. Calm he's called, isn't he?
Oh, that's right.
Can't remember his first name. Oh, Xavier Calm.
Well done, Chris. Love it.
Yeah, you see. If Cifuentes stays true to his word and picks players based on their pre-season showings, then Jeremy Monga should be starting against Wednesday. Despite turning 16 just a few weeks ago, he has been one, if not the best City performer this summer. This is music to your ears, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really. He showcased his dribbling skills, falling far more experienced professionals, but he's also shown a maturity in his decision-making. He doesn't hog the ball and try to score solo, Mavididi. Wonder goals every time, and he will find a teammate. Perhaps the only aspect of the game he might hold him back and give Cifuentes pause for thought is his defensive understanding. Some people would say the best form of defence is attack.
Yeah, I do think he did leave a few gaps for JJ, really. I think there was a bit of... and sometimes then when they broke down the right, that was a problem. But yeah, his decision making is excellent. His ability to buy a little bit of time on the ball. I mean, there was in that against Cologne yesterday. There's a couple of it just waltzed through three players at one stage. He does a shimmy, a double shimmy. He does a step over. He does everything. Or he'll run directly through a thing. It is physical. It can keep the ball. It's interesting.
What they said there was spot on, with Mavididi and to some degree Fatawu as well. It's like they don't trust to pass the ball. They've got to score the goal, where Mongas has got that, and it annoys me so much with them two.
It was like Alves, Chris, as well. Alves, I think the biggest challenge for Cifuentes is getting Alves to release the ball sooner because he can do the showboating stuff, and that's why Rodgers, when we saw him when his debut, said, "Look, he had a word himself. Carry on with that crap. I'm dragging you off." And the few times in the game where he dribbled, he got past one player, but then he should punch you past through, and he kept on the ball, lost the ball. Whereas Monga doesn't do that, and I think Alves will develop into a key central player if Martin can get him to not dribble with the ball all the time.
Indeed. Wayne, thank you very, very much for coming on at very short notice. You will be my regular back pager, and it'll be Friday nights moving forward.
And let's hope it's good news we're talking about, Chris.
Well, hopefully so, hopefully. I prefer to do this, rather than do a whole show on Bamford. Will we get him, won't we get him? How good is he, how bad is he? Until we sign him, I don't see the point of doing 45-minute hour shows on Rumours. I prefer to put it in this sort of put all your news items. What's the advert? Put all your news items. Don't have many news items. Consolidate them into one big news item.
Yeah, definitely. But keep it punchy, Chris, and it's good.
Exactly. Mate, thank you very much. I'll let you go and enjoy your Saturday. And you'll be back tomorrow afternoon with me for the
watching England. Everybody I speak to is really excited about something tomorrow.
I am very, very worried because we have rode our luck.
Yeah.
And I think our luck could be running out. The other flip side to that is our name on the cup.
Yeah, and it depends who starts as well. Who's going to start, Chris?
Surely you've got to start Chloe Kelly, haven't you?
You've
And Abamewang, I don't know if that, and I apologise. I probably
Mang, is it Agimang?
I probably slaughtered her name there, but
these multiple. I did laugh, when we did the Viv one. Some of those players had 5-syllable names, didn't they?
Before the game, when I did the first, the pre-match thing on the watch along, I put their team up and I went, "Go on then, Tom, talk me through the team." I wasn't going to even attempt it, but mate, no, thank you very much. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow at 4:30.
See you tomorrow, mate. Take care.
Cheers. Thanks very much, mate. Cheers. Thanks to Wayne there. And we'll be back Fridays as normal. We didn't do one yesterday because, to be honest with you, and I was invited onto another show as well. But I got to the point where I'd done 2 watch-alongs, so 2 4-hour shows yesterday. I didn't want to do another one last night, and that's why this is today. 4:30 tomorrow. Join us for, as it says going across the bottom there, join us for the Euro final watch-along. 3rd final in a row. Won 1, lost 1. We can't draw. What's going to happen? Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really appreciate you coming in and adding your comments. If you are watching this on catch-up, add your comments below. Always pleased to read those. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending us your ears. Like the video, share it, subscribe. That's the main thing. And click that notification bell. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Thanks very much for all your support. I really, really do appreciate it. Have a good Saturday. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.